This is a series called Insider Info to help you choose a professional organizer. I've been in this industry for 11 years. I will explore many relevant topics that you could consider when you're looking for a professional organizer. The last two I absolutely feel are deal breakers. These are my opinions. You're welcome to have your own opinion. I'm sharing with you my experience and my understanding, which factors you might want to consider. And of course, I can't take any responsibility for the outcome of your experience with another professional organizer. I just want to give you information so that you can make your best decision. And if anyone identifies anything in this series of videos that I was missing or I misspoke, if you want to respectfully point it out to me, I would be happy to learn. I don't pretend to know everything and I'm not perfect. Next up, video number 1, regulation. Number 2, your project. When you're looking for a professional organizer, what are your challenges and what are your goals? Clarity about these will help you identify which professional organizer offers services that fit well with your challenges and your goals. What kind of a project do you think that this will be? Do you need mostly decluttering, or do you need mostly organizing, or do you think you're going to need both? It's quite a different energy and challenge, decluttering versus organizing. And some professional organizers have a real preference for one or the other, because organizers, although they may not specifically mention those two skill packages and streams of work, they're actually quite significant in my opinion. An indication of this is that the association in the United Kingdom is actually called the Association of Professional Declutterers and Organizers, and many people over there will specialize either as a declutterer or as an organizer. Next up, video number 3, identifying specific services. Number 3, if you are looking for help with organizing your family versus your parents versus your papers versus your office, those are different kinds of skill packages and experience, and you should be looking for an organizer who has specific experience and education in that area. There are areas that I specialize, including chronic disorganization, kitchens, and small spaces. And there are other areas where I will not take on a client because of the specific skill set that they're looking for that I don't consider that I master. I will refer them to colleagues who specialize in those areas. And specific services is directly related to the next subject, video number 4, Code of Ethics. Each professional association has published a code of ethics which the members are bound to follow. The associations in Canada and the United States include a clause that says, I will offer services according to my qualifications. The code of ethics also refers to holding the confidentiality of the client's identity and information. The association's code of ethics has many more details than I've referred to here. All codes of ethics are available on the association's websites. Next up, video number 5, competency. Number 5, if it's a company with subcontractors or employees and altogether they cover all the bases, that's a story. But one individual who specializes in offices and senior moves and downsizing and chronic disorganization and families and garages and paper. Past relevant experience is an important factor. If I was working in a business office with, say, 15 employees and we wanted to hire a professional organizer, I would be looking for someone who said, I do office organizing, but who also has a background of having worked in offices. A person's actual life experience contributes greatly to their ability to help clients with that specific challenge. There is a difference between someone who's been in the industry for 2 or 3 years and someone for 18 years. The experience that one gains, it matters, and often it's a good investment to hire someone with more experience. And years of experience is even more relevant if it's a complex project or if there is more human element involved, which is frequently the case when chronic disorganization is one of the factors. Video number 6, let's talk about rates. Rates. Okay, so it's pretty much regional, the rates that people will charge. And then the rates go up depending on a person's experience and education. Many organizers will put their rates on their website out of transparency and public education, which is great, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the people who don't post their rates are not transparent. It just might mean that they're being a little bit more discreet. So don't be shy about asking the rates. You need to know what the rates are. Another comment about rates, it might seem like a lot of money for an hourly rate for a professional organizer. One way that I imagine it is that there's a spectrum in between, like a psychologist and a house cleaner, and a professional organizer is typically somewhere in between. We help people with their physical environment, but there's a tremendous amount of the human element involved. And for many professional organizers, the primary goal is to help the client learn. There's identifying what the client might benefit from learning and transferring skills. At its best, the work that professional organizers do can change lives. Next up, part 7, marketing. I used to think that an organizer having a good website up to date and active social media, I used to think that that was an indication of a good organizer. I don't believe that anymore. It's a good indicator of someone who's good at marketing. I'll give you an example that really hammers this home. One of the very best organizers where I live, she doesn't even have a website, and she has a lineup of people who want to hire her because she is so talented and so skilled. I have worked with her on contracts. She is, in my opinion, the #1 organizer in my city. She works on word of mouth, so she doesn't need an online presence. A person's investment in marketing is an indicator that they're good at marketing. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're good at decluttering and organizing and working with clients. Just another thing to keep in mind. Next up, part 8, client reviews. Reviews. Yes, look for reviews on the person's website, Google, LinkedIn, whatever. Just keep in mind that some of those reviews the person could have posted themselves. Like on my website, I'll tell you right now, I control my own website and I uploaded reviews and comments that I got from real clients. You're having to trust me that I actually got those from clients, which I did, but you don't really know that for sure. On Google, it's the individual who posts them. So Google reviews are more reliable because there's less opportunity to game the system. But that being said, I could get my mum to leave me a review on Google, and the vast majority of people in the public would not know that it's my mother. We have to take everything online with a grain of salt. I'm not saying be suspicious and don't trust anybody. I'm saying you need to put all these factors into consideration together and use your judgment. Next is part 9, professional education. Education is a huge thing. We have a lot of professional education available in our industry. I got some from the professional organizers in Canada. I got some education from the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals, NAPO, in the United States. They have a lot of education available. I also got a lot of education from all the conferences. The conferences are quite expensive. They're annual. All associations offer some kind of an annual event. They're hugely educational, really, really valuable. The other educational institution that I need absolutely to mention is ICD, the Institute for Challenging Disorganization. That's my primary source of education. It's a school for professional organizers, and the primary topic of study is chronic disorganization. So there's all kinds of things that we learn about and discuss, and it's all centered around the theme of chronic disorganization, which is a huge issue. So not only would I recommend that you look for what education has the person gotten in the past, but also is the person doing ongoing education. Part 10 up next, credentialing. Credentialing, certification. I did another video at the beginning of August about my own credentialing. A certificate is a piece of paper. I met the requirements, I passed a test, I got the certificate. It is what it is, it's good, and I get to keep it forever. Certification is a process that a person goes through, and they jump through hoops and they pass the final test. And after that, we say the person is certified. There are different industries where an individual must be certified in order to practice their profession. It reflects on me personally. It's not a piece of paper, it's me. I am certified. Certification must be renewed by default. That's what certification is. To renew it, there are continuing education requirements and there is a fee to be paid. But again, our industry is not regulated, and therefore there is no obligation for a professional organizer to have certification or even certificates. This is just one other factor. A person can be an excellent professional organizer and declutterer without having a credential. Part 11 up next, professional insurance. Does the person have professional insurance? There's liability insurance and there's errors and omissions. It's a sign of professionalism. It's a sign of dedication to the industry and intent to be a serious professional. The thing to keep in mind is how much damage could that person cause? If they're coming into your home and they cause damage, what recourse are you going to have? If they tell you something and you act based on their advice and it was a bad idea and it causes problems, what recourse are you going to have? Some people, the risk is very small. Some people, the risk is very big. Your tolerance to risk. Depending on your own tolerance to risk, that would help you decide if insurance is a significant factor in your choice of a professional organizer. Insurance is yet another thing that is not obligatory. It's just another factor for you to take into consideration. Next up, number 12, business model. Membership in an association, because if you don't belong to your national association or ICD, in my personal view, it's like the equivalent of saying, I know enough on my own. I have figured out enough on my own. I don't believe that any individual knows enough on their own. When we put ourselves in these associations, whether it's NAPO in the United States or POC in Canada or APTO in the UK or NBPO in the Netherlands, first of all, we're paying several $100s a year to belong. So that's a demonstration of professionalism. It gives us the opportunity to hear best practices. This is the most important thing of all. What have all these smart people figured out? What's the best learning in them? Where's the bar? I want to know where the bar is. And I can't find it or hear it or see it unless I'm inside that that professional association. I consider that to be a deal breaker. I absolutely encourage you to hire professional organizers who belong to their national association or ICD or both. Next up, it's the final chapter in this series and then the conclusion. And finally, your instincts. All of these factors are important, and I would encourage you to think about them and take them all into consideration alongside your instinct. When you consider all these factors, then sit back and listen to your instinct. How do you feel with this person? Talk to them on the phone. My business model, for example, invites people to reach out for a complimentary exploratory phone call. We talk for 20 minutes on the phone. It gives me a chance to understand what your challenges are, what your goals are, tell you about my services, and for us to figure out if we think we're a good fit. And if not, I refer you to someone else. It's a big deal to invite a stranger into your home to help you with a problem, and you need to feel comfortable in order to show that person your challenges. So do listen to your instincts, because your instincts are smart and they're there to protect you. All that's left now is the conclusion, coming up next. I started this series in response to some comments and questions that I had received on some of my videos. The professional organizing industry started in the United States. It's been in evolution for a long time, and it has spread to other countries. It's an amazing industry. It helps people, changes lives. I feel very privileged to belong to this industry and very proud of my colleagues and the work that we're doing to help the public. And I'm very proud of the public for stepping up and asking for our help. It takes a certain amount of hope and faith and trust, and it's a beautiful thing when we can partner up together. It's up to the consumer to do their homework and to use what they've learned to make the best decisions possible. There's an enormous variety of professional organizers, how we practice, what we specialize in, how we deliver our services, whether it's in person or virtually or both, whether it's individually or whether it's in a team. As a consumer, I encourage you to view the entire series to help you figure out what are the elements that are the most important to you. I hope that this series has been helpful and answered some questions for you. Don't hesitate to reach out, and I'll continue making videos in response. Business model. In my industry, people can either work as a solopreneur, which is what I do. I work all by myself, just me, myself, and I. And then there are other people that work in teams. So some people will either be a team leader, like have their own company and hire other people to work under their roof, or they will be the person who works in the team under someone else's roof. There's all these different ways of working. What matters is the person coming into your home. Are they a good fit for you? Do you feel comfortable with them? Are they responding to your needs? Are they helping you with your problems? Are they teaching you what you need to learn? And are they respectful? And is it a good fit? And this brings us to the final two elements, both of which I consider to be deal breakers.